MMA rants and raves, Mariusz Pudzianowski versus Robert Pascal. You know what, guys? I got some news for you, in case you don't know it already. It turns out the fight against Pujanowski with Tim Silva that was supposed to take place on April 23rd is not taking place. They actually pushed it off to May 21st because he's going to be fighting Robert Pascal on May 7th at a KSW event in Poland. Now, think about what I just said. May 7th, he's taking on a fight, and May 21st, he's taking on a fight. Guys, that's 2 weeks apart. He's fighting 2 MMA fights in a 2 weeks time span. Nobody does that. I mean, if this is true, he's setting himself up for disaster. I don't know if it's him that's doing it. Maybe it's his promoters, or maybe they're going to postpone this again. I mean, I certainly hope they do. I don't think it's a good idea to do something like that. But anyway, it seems that's the way it's going. So let's get right to it. I was looking into this particular match. It's kind of interesting. I think this Pascal guy is something to look into. He seems to be an accomplished sumo wrestler, also into Roman Greco and knows some judo. He also defeated a guy in his MMA debut, a guy named James McSweeney, who happens to be a UFC fighter right now with 1 victory under his belt. So he's a good UFC fighter. He's a heavyweight fighter, big guy, 6'4", something like 235, 238 pounds. Young guy, he's like 29. When he faced Pascal, he was about 27. And Pascal dominated the guy. You know, in about 2 minutes, he defeated him, submission. You know, what's really funny about it is that, well, to me, I'm not really much into sumo wrestling at all. But, you know, you see most submissions happening. You know, how do they go? It's Kimura, armbar, guillotine. You know how the submission went? Smother. That was the victory. How Pascal got the win. He won by smother. So that's really interesting. I mean, that's what's on his record. I mean, I saw the fight, actually. And I got to give the guy credit. This Pascal guy, you know, he looks like a typical wrestler the way he fought. He ducked under a punch by McSweeney, who seems to be a striker. And he went immediately for the takedown. You know, he's using the tools that he's got. And he just took him down pretty easily. This guy's a really big, strong guy. And after he took him down, he actually defended against a lot of submission attempts by McSweeney. It looked like he was trying to get him into a guillotine or an armbar, and he just couldn't do it. He wasn't successful. It seems that Pascal also was able to pass his guard very easily, and once he did pass his guard, he was just laying on him and grappling. And that's 300 pounds of mass right there, laying on top of you. That's crushing weight, along with the guy trying to squeeze him, which is what it seems like these sumo wrestlers do. It was too much. He just tapped out in 2 minutes and change, something like that, and that fight was over. So, you know, the guy obviously is very good at what he does. I got to give him credit. And that's what he's about. He's a sumo guy, a Greco guy. And that's his background. So as far as Pujanowski, this is going to be, I think this is going to be his first real test. You got to give Pascal some credit. However, let's look at the other side of it. Pascal is 40 years old. And, you know, these sumo guys, they're not in good shape. I mean, the point is, I guess, to keep on eating and eating and get as big as you can. And of course, they got skill, they got talent, they know what they're doing. But it just seems these guys are just huge, overweight guys, and they just have to push each other out of a circle or grapple and do all kinds of stuff, and I guess that's how they pick up their victory. Another funny thing about it seems like an oxymoron. I thought these guys were all from Japan, but he's a Polish sumo wrestler, so I guess this stuff is kind of popular maybe in Europe. It's spread out from Asia, and I guess that's just the way it is. But he's got skills, you know. He beat this McSweeney guy, and it seems he has a lengthy record. He's an accomplished sumo wrestler. He's got something like over 30 medals that he got as championships in Europe and in other parts of the world. So he's accomplished with what he does, and he's good at what he does. Now, let's get to Pujanowski. Of course, he's the world's strongest man. And he's already had his MMA debut against a guy with no MMA background. So I have to give actually an edge to Pascal as far as who he's faced in the background. He faced a guy that has an MMA background and is now a UFC fighter, but before he wasn't. So, fighters get better. So he fought him probably before he improved his game. You could make that argument. And as far as these two guys getting together, like I said, Pujanowski, number one, he's got strength. He's got some kind of boxing skills. It seems he's been training boxing as far as that's concerned. So he's got some boxing ability. You've seen it in his other fight. He likes to stand up. There's no question about that. It doesn't look like he likes to take things down. I heard that he has a black belt in karate. Of course, he's a cardio machine. I mean, come on, what this guy does. I've seen some of his strongman competitions. I mean, this guy is picking up cars, walking with them, smashing beer kegs, lifting these heavy poles, and they have to do this in a time frame. So they have to beat a clock against their strongman competitors. This guy is cardio. I remember this event that he had against another strongman guy, where he had to pick up a car, and the other guy just collapsed and needed oxygen. His wife was holding her face, and she was like scared that the guy was dead. And he just kept on picking up this car, one after the other, and you could just look in this guy's face. I believe in this guy because, I mean, he has this competitive spirit. He kept on picking up that car, and his face was red, and he was putting up so much energy and so much determination to pick up this car and to continue and to continue. And he already beat the other guy. He just kept on doing it because he was trying to get a record or an achievement. So he's a fierce competitor, this Pudzianowski. I mean, I can see it. There's no question about that. The guy's a competitor, and he's really serious about this. He really wants to be successful in MMA. So I can tell you, the guy has cardio. So you got strength, you got cardio. He's got some kind of, boxing skills. He's got a karate background. He's got all these things going for him. And the other thing is, he's a young guy. He's in his early 30s. And if you look at Pascal, give the guy credit, but, he's 40 years old. The guy is 40. Another plus that Pudzianowski has, as far as in shape, he's in the best shape in the world. He's the world's strongest man. The guy is in unbelievable physical condition. His physical condition is too good. If you look at Pascal, it's basically just a really overweight, huge sumo guy. That's what he is. This guy's not in good shape. And if you look at that McSweeney fight, the guy, even though he was laying on McSweeney most of the fight, the guy was gassing terribly. He was breathing heavily. And what do you expect? The guy's 300 pounds, and most of it is a lot of it is body fat. So he's going to have to take that around with him when he fights Pudzianowski. And it's going to be difficult for him. It just seems that all the skills and the tools that Pudzianowski brings into the ring, he's got a lot more. He's got a lot more to offer him at his disposal. He has more in his arsenal than Pascal has. So you could say well-rounded, even though these guys really don't have an MMA background. Pudzianowski, as far as a fight is concerned, and whatever happens in that fight, it seems that Pudzianowski has more to bring to the table against Pascal. So here's the way I see the fight going. It's obvious that there's no secret about it. It seems Pudzianowski likes to stand up. He's going to try to trade blows with this guy. It seems that Pascal's going to try to avoid those blows and try to take Pudzianowski down. Can he get him down? I think he might be able to, but the question is, when they fall down, if Pudzianowski falls on top, he's going to be in trouble because Pudzianowski himself is about 285, 290 pounds. He's 300 pounds on his back. He may not be able to get up. That's a lot of weight. Your own weight plus the other guy. When you're not in good physical shape, it's going to be a problem. And it may not get there. I don't know if this guy can take a punch. His cardio is not good. It has not shown to be good, especially in the McSweeney fight. So the way I see the fight going, I see that Pudzianowski is going to strike. He's going to strike with this guy, and you may see a TKO, early TKO. You might see that that Pascal is going to gas, and I see Pudzianowski being victorious in this fight. And before I'm done with this, I just want to mention one thing. I want Pudzianowski to be successful. I want him to be successful. You know why? I'm biased, I admit. But you know what I'm biased about? I'm biased that MMA is the best sport in the world. There's no better sport than mixed martial arts. It's the best by far out of all of them. I don't care what anybody says. That's my opinion, and that's the way it is. How cool is it to have the world's strongest man within mixed martial arts? I think that's a great thing. It's great for the sport. It's going to be interesting to see a man with such unbelievable mutant strength. I mean, this guy is scary, guys. He is a scary dude. I mean, this guy is able to pull airplanes, fire trucks with a rope, walk with cars, smash beer kegs with his hands. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just amazing what these guys can do. Animals do that. An elephant can pull a plane. I don't know if a human can do it. This guy has mutant strength. To take this strength and bring it into a cage or a ring is going to be really exciting to see. All right? So I hope he's successful on any level. If he wins a few fights, loses a few fights, it should be interesting to see if he can take this strength and develop a skill set to implement that strength. I would like to know what you guys think about this fight against Robert Pascal and the proposed fight again with Tim Silva in a short time span. What you think about that? I would like you to leave your comments below the video. Please rate the video, please subscribe, and thank you for tuning in.